Hey guys, this is Karthik Kantwal from Apex FinServ and I'm back with your daily dose of charts for the next trading session, equity and the index outlook for tomorrow as well. But before we start, a brief run up of today's trades. We had multiple triggers and two targets and a stop loss hit, if I'm not wrong. But for exact results, you can check out the Telegram channel at the Apex FinServ. So it was a green day, all things considered. Even the indices, the zones worked exactly. We had a long entry on Nifty at the near demand zone that we had plotted yesterday, and in the second half we witnessed an up move, so that worked pretty nicely too. All things considered, we had a good green day, and I hope you guys did too. Now moving on to the trades for tomorrow's trading session, starting with the first one, Just Dial. Now Just Dial, we're going to go for a long trade. If you remember, just 2 days ago we discussed this level of 375 where we had a short trade, and I believe we had this today as well. So this support turned resistance has been reclaimed pretty strongly and should act as support from this point onwards. So the idea is to take a long position at that very point, long at 375, stop loss at 370, ideal targets 1% on the upside. Moving on to the next one, PL again we are going to go for a short position. If you see this massive sell off that has come, after that we have had no retracement really of that selling move. Now that retracement should be there. The first level was at 1375, which we had a position on, and that was a good trade. Now the next retracement, it should be up till 1400, because that is the next support turn resistance, and that is also close to 40% retracement of that impulsive sell off move. So the idea here is to go short at 1400, stop loss at 1420, ideal targets 1% on the downside. Moving on to the next one, Anderson Bank, we are going to go for a breakout trade. Now if you go by today's and yesterday's candle structure formation, then for thrice or 3 times it actually tried to break this level of 650, and it could not. But going by the closing of today's prices, the last candle was pretty indecisive. The demand that came in, that was not really being refused strongly. So we do expect that that level of 650 is going to be broken tomorrow. If that is, then that's where we'd like to enter. So it's a long position above 650, stop loss at 642, and ideal targets 1% on the upside as usual. Moving on to the next one, MFSL. This same support that we discussed, 580, if you remember yesterday. The trade here is placed exactly there. Buy at 580, stop loss 572, ideal targets 1% on the upside. Really simple chart on this one, nothing much to discuss. Moving on to the next one, Oro Pharma is a simple role reversal trade. We are going to go short at the neckline. It is pretty much carried exactly the same as it was. Short at 850, stop loss at 862, ideal targets 1% on the downside. Moving on to the next one, Bharat Forge, we are going to go for a breakout trade here. We'll be going long above 503, because that is the supply zone limit at 503. Multiple times the price has witnessed impulsive sell-offs from that particular point. It has had breakouts too, but none of them really sustained. But every time it did give a decent up move spike. So that is the hope this time too. We aim to go long above 503. Stop loss at 495. Ideal targets 1% on the upside. Moving on to the next one, Lupin. Now Lupin, we are going to go for a simple structure analysis based trades. If you look at this recent candle formation, that is a clear high low pattern being completed. So the simple approach here would be to take a long position in the direction of the pattern at the nearest swing point, which happens to be 950. So we are going to go for a long position at 950, stop loss at 938, ideal targets 1% on the upside. Moving on to the next one, the new addition in our list, Balkrishna Industries. Now Balkrishna Industries, we are going to go for a short position at 1355. Pretty much exactly the same outlook that we had carried yesterday too. Short at 1355, stop loss at 1370, ideal targets 1% on the downside. Moving on to the next one, SR Transfer. Now SR Transfer, we are going to go for a breakout trade on this one. 700 has been a strong supply zone. It was broken on the upside and it acted as a demand zone from that point onwards. Now this time again it has acted as a supply zone, but the impact that it had was not really that strong. So the idea is that it should be crossed pretty seamlessly. If it is being crossed, then that's where we'd like to enter. So it's a long above 700, stop loss at 690, ideal targets 1% on the downside. moving on to my favorite part, the indices, starting with the first one, Nifty. Now, Nifty, I told you guys, yesterday that it was stuck between a range, and the break of this range is going to be deciding the short-term direction for Nifty, and well, that is exactly what happened. It broke out of that range, and then it gave a swift 40 to 50 points move in the second trading session. We even had an opportunity to take long trades, if you remember, as I told yesterday, somewhere close to 11,400, 11,420, because that was the nearest level of support. So if you had taken a long trade and even booked at the upper supply zone, then you still would have caught at least, if not 100, then at least 50 to 60 points, which still is pretty decent when we talk about Nifty in particular. Now for tomorrow, the nearest hurdle point is 11,575, 11,575 or 11,600, that range of 25 points. If that is being crossed, then well, you might see Nifty all the way till 11,700 in the coming trading sessions. If that is not being crossed, and then well, on the downside, we have multiple support levels as of now, 11,500, 11,400 and 11,300. So we have a lot of support available for Nifty. Now when we talk about the option chain, we have immediate resistance at 11,600, as I said, 575, 600, with 266,000 added contracts. Significant at 11,700 with 409,000 added contracts. But on the support side of things, we have 11,500 as immediate support with a massive 1 million added contracts, and 11,400 with 675,000 added contracts. So just comparing both of these values, it is very, very clearly evident that the put writers are a lot more confident at this particular point of time, and that is also aligning with our views on Nifty. If you remember, I showed you guys that chart on daily. Let me switch it again. If you can wait a minute. Yeah, I hope you guys can see on the screen now. I told you guys I have taken a long trade on Nifty at 11,450-ish, with my stop loss going under the low of this big engulfing candle. And as I also told you guys, I expect to see Nifty at somewhere close to 11,700, 11,750-ish in the coming trading sessions. And well, just from my point of entry, it is almost 100 points up, so that trade does seem to be going in my favor for me, but just experimental. But you guys can keep track of it. It is going pretty nicely as of now, and until there is no news interfering, no border issues or no economical triggers that we are getting on the negative side, then well, the first target that I'm expecting is honestly the high of this trading session, the big red candle. The high of that, I am expecting that to be taken out soon, but let's see whether it does or not. Now, however, from my point of entry, as of now, it is 100 points in the green, so I am pretty thankful for that. Now moving on to the next one, coming on to Bank Nifty. Now for Bank Nifty, it is sadly still stuck in between that range of 23,600 to 24,000. Now I told you guys yesterday that break of this range is must for Bank Nifty. So as of now, Nifty is performing pretty well, whereas Bank Nifty is pretty sluggish. Unless and until Bank Nifty breaks 24,000, I don't really see it going anywhere on the upside. However, on the downside, it does have strong support at 23,600, 23,500 and 23,200 all the way till 23,000. So it does have a lot of support, but that aggressive buying pressure is not really kicking in as of this point. For the charts for tomorrow, I would say one can look for aggressive short entries near 24,000. Again, aggressive entries, or for conservative entries, you can go for long about 24,000 if that is being sustained. On the downside, you can go for longs, aggressive ones at 23,600, 23,700, or aggressive, not aggressive, but conservative shorts under the break of that level of 23,600. So, whichever happens first based on your risk appetite. Now, when we come to the option chain, we have immediate resistance at 24,000 with 268,000 added contracts. Significant at 24,500 with 516,000 added contracts. On the support side of things, we have 23,500 with 517,000 added contracts, and well, significant support at 23,000 with 204,000 added contracts. Now, judging by the option chain, here the put writers are pretty confident, especially at 23,500. So if I were to take longs on Bank Nifty, that would pretty much be close to 23,600 or at least 23,500, depending upon, of course, what kind of opening do we have, what kind of candle formation we have at that particular point. But that's my view on the indices for tomorrow. Now tomorrow is also the expiry, and I do expect a somewhat bullish expiry, if not in the first half, then in the second half. And I do have some carried positions for that, not in Bank Nifty but in Nifty, as I already told you guys, the longs. Whether it goes my way or not, that is something that needs to be seen. But keep in mind, I always take my positions as per my risk appetite. So, just don't jump into a trade because I am into it. That doesn't make sense. You need to keep in mind your capital size and your risk appetite while entering any positions. Now, since tomorrow is expiry, I would advise you guys not to take any impulsive or aggressive trades on the indices. Wait for proper confirmations, even if that means missing out 10 to 15 or 20 to 30 points. But take quality entries. Keep in mind the quality of trades matters a lot more than the quantity of trades. Well, these are all the charts that I had to share with you guys for tonight, and I hope you guys have a really exciting but equally profitable expiry trading session tomorrow. If you want all these charts, the watch list, all the option chain analysis for tomorrow, you can check out the Telegram channel at the rate Apex Finserv, the Instagram with the same handle, or the Twitter again with the same handle. The links of them, all these three platforms are in the description below. And if you like the channel, do support us. Share this video as much as you can. That really helps. Like, share, subscribe, comment something nice, and press that bell notification icon too. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night, guys. Bye.